Kerry Ingram, we are so excited to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You have had such an incredible career so far, and what I'm really interested in is learning about your journey as an actor. One of your first major roles was in the musical Matilda. You played that at Stratford-on-Avon in England, and then it moved on to the West End. The role of Matilda earned you an Olivier Award for Best Actress, which is the British version of our Broadway's Tony Awards, which is a major achievement. And how old were you when that happened?
I had just turned 12. I know, it was incredible.
And
surreal. I still don't believe it.
What was going through your mind? Did you understand the magnitude of that accomplishment?
I did, and I didn't at the time. I thought I knew how amazing it was, but only sort of through the years that I really start to grow up and realise how much of an achievement it was at the time. Because you don't really notice it when you're 12. you know it's cool, but not until you get into like the actual industry when you realise, oh wow, that was really, really cool. But yeah, it was incredible, and it did a lot. It did a lot.
I mean, that must have opened up some major doors for you.
Yeah, it did. People, and for the show as well, it opened so many doors for the show, and yeah, it just did so much going into like castings and stuff. You know, everyone had heard about it, and yeah, it's just such an amazing thing to have. Really, it's in my mum's living room.
After that show, then you transitioned into film and television, and let's get right into it. Your next biggest role after that was Princess Shireen Baratheon in Game of Thrones. And how did that come about for you?
So that was I had just signed with an agent who I found through Matilda, and I was under contract for Matilda for a while, so I didn't really do much auditioning and stuff. And then as soon as I finished that, that's when I started to be a bit too old for theatre, and my agent was like, we're gonna do TV and film now, let's see how this goes. So I did a few auditions, didn't really get anywhere, but I wasn't in it for that, I was just having fun. And then it was actually the day after the Olivier Awards, where we'd had the parties, and 12 years old, was drinking at the J2Os like no tomorrow, and 10 a.m. the next morning I had my audition for Game of Thrones, and I went in, and 11 days later they asked me to play Shireen, which was really cool.
Looking back, how does it feel to be a part of arguably one of the most watched, talked about shows in the history of television?
It was crazy because at the time it wasn't known as well as it is now. Because when I joined season 3, season 1 and season 2 had only really aired in the States. It wasn't that big in the UK. It was, but not to the level that it is now. And no one really knew what it was, and we kind of just went into it. And then it was when kind of like season 1 and season 2 aired, which was after I filmed season 3, that we realised like how big it was getting and how awesome of a TV show it was. And it was absolutely incredible. But that feeling kind of grew over time. There was no particular moment where I realised that I was in a really cool thing. It kind of grew with me, because as the show grew, that's when it started to get more and more popular. And yeah, it was a gradual feeling, which is really hard to explain, but yeah, it was incredible, amazing.
Can you give us, it's such a major production. Can you give us a little something behind the scenes of how big was the crew? How did they handle all the movement, all the moving parts? How was it on set?
Crazy. Incredible. Yeah, it was crazy, but it was like an organised mess. Like every film set is. There was so many crews and so many productions. They had like different units in every single, in 4 different countries. They had like 3 or 4 units in 4 different countries. And everything was going on at once, and they were filming multiple episodes, like a day or something if you count everywhere that was working throughout the months. But it was a crazy big production, and it's something that you realise on film sets, is that a scene with 2 people only will have a crew of 400 in the room around the cameras that everyone else doesn't see.
Part of our Hollywood Immersive program, which I've told you about, we are going to be doing a makeup program coming up. And I bring this up to you because your character on Game of Thrones had some pretty intense makeup.
Yeah.
Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah, it took 3 hours to put on, 2 hours to take off. It was like a sticker. The first couple were the first couple tries that we did took about 5 hours, and it was full of cornflakes and all of that jazz, and they were just like, no, my face would go moldy by the end of the day. So yeah, it ended up being like a prosthetic that was here, and here, and then blended, and then we managed to let it down to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and just make it one big thing. And yeah, it was a painful 5 a.m. in the morning process.
Well, the makeup artist on that show, it's not just, of course, your character, but practically everyone there has something special going on.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible.
Oh, I had it easy compared to the White Walkers.
Oh, boy.
8 hours, I heard from one of the guys. 8 hours.
Wow.
Makes my...
You really got to give credit to the
makeup,
people
yeah.
behind the scenes, the makeup artists, everyone.
All the time. Makeup artists are... Do you know what? They are there 2 hours before everyone else, and they leave 2 hours after everyone else.
Wow.
They're incredible. Crews are just incredible.
Yeah,
And they don't get the recognition they deserve.
Everyone on the crew, yeah, really is. It's such a collaborative effort to be part of this major production. Season 8 is coming out, and you were on seasons 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
So you're no longer on the show. And this is a question for an actor who has been on the run of a show, and when you learned that you were no longer going to be on the show, wow, what was that feeling like?
When I found out how it was going to happen, I was just so excited. I was sad initially to be leaving the show because it was amazing, but I was really excited to get to film a scene like that because it was horrible for everyone else, but I had a great time.
So your final scene, I don't know if that was the final scene that you shot, but your final scene on the show, you enjoyed that?
I did, and it's, no one understands this. It is such an honor as an actor to get to play out a scene with so many different emotions, something that is barely ever done on television. It's an honor, and you're never going to get to play around with that kind of thing again. It's so heartbreaking for people to watch, but for me, it really challenged me.
Yeah.
Really challenged me, and it was a challenge that I liked.
Especially at such a young age.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a big responsibility. I had the responsibility of this huge death scene thing, and I just had an amazing time doing it, and they made sure that I was having a great time doing it. And
there must have been in the shot. There's many people. Was that many people on set that you had to deliver in front of because time is money and all that?
Yeah, I had to deliver that performance in front of sort of like 250 extras, and that was more scary than doing the scene itself, because there were so many people just watching me, and so many things were going through my head. But I kind of just got up and did it and gave it my all, really, which is all I could do.